Welcome in to the Rock Talk studio, where I help you find the next great rock and roll book or documentary to check out. This is the podcast that reviews, previews, and most importantly, recommends to you the good stuff. And today you are going to get a ton of good stuff, the top 5 of the good stuff. This episode is all about top 5 rock and roll documentaries that have been released so far this year. I'm your host, Big Rick. Let's plug in and take a look at the best documentaries released in the first 6 months of 2025. Every month, I track the rise and fall of the most badass rock and roll documentaries. You got new entries crashing the charts, old releases fighting to stay on top, sleeper picks sneaking up the rank, who's climbing, who's falling, who got snubbed. That's what the monthly top 5 is all about. And at the middle of the year, I like to do this moment. I like to stop and take a look at where we're currently at. Where do we stand with the top 5 of rock and roll books and documentaries? Last week I did the book, so if you want to hear that, go back in the archives, one show, you've got the top 5 rock and roll books. But this week, it's documentaries. Let the debate begin. The top 5 docs of 2025 so far. Okay, number 5 is Sly Lives, The Burden of Black Genius. Sly Stone's genius wasn't just about the music. It was the weight of carrying a moment. And this documentary, directed by Questlove, really unpacks how his groundbreaking sound was tied to a cultural shift, showing the highs and the lows and the ultimate price that Sly paid for fame. Questlove interviewed a bunch of diverse talent to look at the question of Black genius. Vernon Reid of Living Colour, Andre 3000, D'Angelo's in there, Nile Rodgers, George Clinton shares a bunch of really funny stuff. But they all use their experience in the music industry to look at how Sly, who basically changed the landscape of music by inventing what became the template for so much of the sound of the 70s, how he struggled with the weight of fame. And that is what separates this doc from just another kind of straightforward look at Sly's career. It's not that. Veering off and exploring how Black artists feel this debt to where they were brought up, and how with the influx of money and fame takes them out of a neighborhood and lifestyle that they grew up with, that they were comfortable with. And it was challenging to make sense of that for a lot of the artists, and even for the people interviewed. It was really a difficult question to answer. But it gave this doc a different perspective of how the genius of Sly Stone is perceived, and is well worth the time invested to watch. And of course, you get a ton of great music from Sly on this one. This is a good one. It's coming in at number 5, Sly Lives, The Burden of Black Genius. Number 4, this one was a lot of fun. In 1983, Cameron Crowe, still very early in his career, picked up a camera and quietly captured something incredible. And the result was a grainy, gutsy, joy-fueled snapshot of a band still hungry and still trying to figure it all out. This is Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers Beach Party documentary. And Petty and the Heartbreakers, this was after Damn the Torpedoes, right around the Long After Dark record. So they were famous, but they were still wondering if their fame was going to last. So it caught them at a really interesting time in their career. It's very casual. It's very loose. I really enjoyed this. MTV aired this one time in the middle of the night. It was 2 a.m. and then they shelved it for being too raw. But now it's restored. It's got 20 extra minutes, and those 20 extra minutes are great. I really think the thing that pushes this doc over the top and gets it on this list is that extra 20 minutes. There's no script. There's no polish. It's just raw moments, backstage vibes. You got late night jam sessions. Really cool spot with Stevie Nicks doing Stop Dragging My Heart Around. It's kind of messy, but it's magic. It's a good time. It's a must-see. Number 4 best documentary of 2025, Tom Petty, Heartbreakers Beach Party. Okay, number 3 on the list is Norman's Rare Guitars, and it is far more than a documentary about vintage instruments, so know that. This is a deeply moving portrait of Norm Harris, the heart and soul behind the legendary guitar shop. And while the film opens with famous musicians and actors praising the store, the emotional core quickly shifts to Norm's personal journey, especially after he was diagnosed with cancer and actually suffered multiple heart attacks during the filming of this documentary. It's crazy. His story from a young age, he was a young stoner in the 60s. He was selling guitars out of a newspaper. And the next thing you know, he's selling guitars to George Harrison. It's an amazing story, the history of this shop. This is a sneaker pick that kind of came out of nowhere. I really love this doc. It has a lot of really great moments to it. I'm not going to spoil a bunch of it. You can go back in the archives if you want to hear my review of it. Really great documentary, and it definitely deserves a number 3 spot. Norman's Rare Guitars. I would say don't miss this one. Number 2, and here we go. I definitely have been giving this way too much time in my head because Becoming Led Zeppelin has been the number 1 doc this year from the moment whoever was that lucky person who sat in that seat on opening day in the theaters when this thing first came out. No doubt, it's tremendous. It rocks. It kicks ass. It's amazing. The music is otherworldly. Getting the 3 surviving members to participate on such a deep level, and the music and all the live shots and the inclusion of a long-lost John Bonham tape, this doc is tops. No doubt about it. There is no way something else was going to topple the mighty Led Zeppelin documentary, especially after all the years waiting for this one. It's been 7 years since they were putting this thing together, but something did. I'm going out on a limb, and I'm putting a new documentary on the top of the list of 2025. Which one am I talking about? Who Dethroned the King? That's coming up after the break. Sorry to prolong the wait for the number 1 documentary, but I promise after hearing this, what I'm going to tell you, I think you'll agree it's worth it because I love giving away books, and this book that I'm giving away is really something special. And we can thank our sponsor, Thames and Hudson, for that. They're sponsoring this episode, and they're sponsoring this book giveaway. One lucky person is going to win a copy of the new book called Buzz Me In, Inside the Record Plant Studio. It's a great read, really interesting look at the heyday of the recording studio. This book covers around 10 years, from like 1970, 69 to 80, and 2 men who decided to kind of take it to the next level when it comes to recording studios. You've got audio engineer Gary Kellgren and businessman Chris Stone. They combined and formed a partnership, and they were inspired by their connection with Jimi Hendrix and what he was doing with studios. They decided to roll the dice and build a recording studio in New York City. And the book takes you on a wild, uninhibited, crazy ride through what it took to create, build, run, produce, and make rock and roll history. To get in on the drawing for the book sponsored by Thames and Hudson, there are 2 things that you need to do. And one is subscribe to my monthly newsletter. It's called the Rock Talk Studio Blast. The cool thing about that is the subscriptions are currently free, so just send me an email and I'll sign you up. And then one last thing I have to mention, you have to be a U.S. citizen to win the contest that only ship to the United States. So send me an email, say, hey, Big Rick, shoot me up that blast. The newsletter comes out 1 time a month, last Friday of the month, gives you all the updates on upcoming titles, all the new release announcements, and give you a look at all the good stuff. Coming up in a couple of weeks, I'm also going to be doing a spotlight title review, preview, and recommendation of Buzz Me In Inside the Record Plant Studios. So look forward to that coming up. But right now, it's time to talk about that number 1 documentary of 2025. Knocking off Led Zeppelin. Wow, what doc is that good? Who or what could possibly take out the champ and claim the number 1 spot? Well, it's one man in the name of love, and that man is Bono of U2 and the new doc, Songs of Surrender. It is artsy, it is gutsy, it is touching, it is inspiring, it is tremendous. I was speechless after this documentary. The documentary takes from his one-man show he did to promote his great memoir, Surrender. If you want to check out that memoir, I did a review of that way back in episode 17, so you got to dig way back for that one, but it's worth it. Tremendous book. Loved it. The documentary is filmed in black and white. He sings a few moments from a few songs with a 3-piece band. I was really, really moved by watching this documentary. Led Zeppelin was great. It rocked. There were some moving moments, especially the Bonham tape, but not like this. I can't wait to do a full show on this. Give me a few weeks. I'm going to put together my full review of that. I have 2 shows scheduled before that. This one really surprised me, and I just can't say enough of good things about it. I don't want to get too into it and get too crazy about it. The hardest shows for me to write and to talk about are the ones that I really were moved by, the really, really good ones. But they're also the titles that I can't wait to share with you about. So if you have Apple TV, it's playing right now. Bono, Songs of Surrender. Check it out. The new #1 documentary so far this year. Next week, I was telling you earlier about this book, the book that I'm going to be giving away, Buzz Me In. Next week, I'm going to be doing a full review on the show, and I'm going to be giving the book away on the show, drawing the winner of the show. So if you're into the book and you want to win it, I don't know why you wouldn't want to win it because it's a great book. Tune in next week. The spotlight title is Buzz Me In, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be the winner of the free giveaway copy. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Love talking rock and roll. If you're new to the program, I hope you enjoyed it today. We'll get back to a spotlight title next week. It's going to be that Buzz Me In book. If you want to win that free copy, info@rocktalkstudio.com. Send me an email. I'll put that in the show notes too. All right, tear it down, pack it up, and head on down the road. We'll see you next time in the Rock Talk Studio.